Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I hope you're doing well. I'm actually recording this from inside the co-working space instead of at home. So if you hear background noise, forgive me for that. That's just the other people who are here with me, which is actually really nice when you're in the middle of well, coronavirus separation and stuff like that, to at least be in the same room as people. Anyways, so happy Tuesday. As usual, I'm here with a live for you guys. And today I want to talk about whether or not you should show your prices, right? This is something that I get questions on a lot. Should I put them on my services page? Should I not? Because I write a lot of websites for bookkeepers and stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you something that used to drive me crazy when I first got into my business, because I want to say there's a clear right or wrong answer, but there isn't. And I know that's really frustrating when you're first getting started, first putting your prices together, first feeling things out. But I do have some guidelines that are specific more to where you're at in your business, what kind of business you have, and your confidence when it comes to sales. So there are factors that affect whether or not you should have it or need it. So I'm going to get into the pros and cons for both having prices on your website and for not having it. And I'll get into what I do, how it's worked for me, and what I've been taught. So okay, we'll jump in. All right, so let's start with arguments for putting prices on your service page. So one thing this does, some people say that this weeds out bargain hunters. So say that you're not wanting to attract, lowball clients. You're not competing on lowest price. So if you put your higher dollar amount, then the people who are just like kicking tires just want prices rather than everyone wasting an hour getting on the phone, scheduling stuff, going back and forth. People who just want something cheap will know not to reach out to you. So it saves everyone time. So that's one perspective on putting prices on your page. Another thing it does is some people like it shows transparency. A lot of business owners saying, like I want to be transparent, I want to be genuine, and some people really appreciate that. They see the prices and they feel like they don't have to get in a sales call with you, that you're being open about how much you charge, and some customers get attracted to that, and in that sense feel like you're being open from your website and will want to get on the phone with you, right? Another argument for putting your prices on your page is especially if you don't feel comfortable with the selling aspect of your business, of getting on the phone, talking to your prices, talking to your needs, and selling yourself, sharing your value, things of that nature. Honestly, I think it would be a very good tool for you. If you're timid about selling yourself, once you put the price on your website, if someone gets on the phone with you after seeing the prices and then still tries to haggle you down, you can hold on to that. And so instead of backing down and feeling timid, you can say, no, this is the posted price. This is how it is for everyone. And it'll help you keep to what your value is, right? So I know that might be something that's good for people who struggle with the confidence on the sales calls, right? And also, like I said, sometimes when people are looking around for services, they don't want to have to get in a sales call. They just want a price. But something that I know in my life, it's like I've had multiple occasions where when I reached out to someone who didn't have prices listed, it was because they had already communicated their value to me really well in lives, in value, in content on their website, in Facebook posts. So that's another thing to keep in mind is how well are you communicating your value in other ways. And then something else that I read when it comes to whether you should post your prices or not, there's a difference between if you're a business helping businesses or a business helping consumers. Now, if you're a business helping consumers, then you should be clear. You do have more of a strategic, sorry, there's people all around me, so sorry if I'm distracted. When you're selling to consumers, it's much better to post your prices. And also, say you're like Burt's Bees selling like chapstick. Of course, you want to be very upfront with what your prices are. It's different. However, if you're a business helping businesses, if you're a service-based business, it gets more dynamic. You add on different things, and it's more common to not list your prices. So those are the arguments for listing your prices. It helps if you're not confident on sales calls. It helps you appear more transparent, and it may help uh, get rid of the budget hunters, which saves everyone time. So here's arguments against doing it. Now, some of you may know me already by now in the fact that I don't have prices listed on my site. I haven't up to this point, and I don't know when or if I will. Certain things, I have clear prices on, like the content membership that I have and things of that nature. Website content is usually pretty straightforward, so I'm able to price that. But I was taught, and I'm more in the camp of not listing my prices. So there are a lot of reasons for not doing it. So let me go through those with you, and maybe some of these will resonate with you. Once again, when it comes to the decision you make for your business, it has to fit you and feel good for you. Once again, I wish I could tell you what the silver bullet right thing for you was, but a lot of it does come down to what do you feel best about, right? So here's some arguments to support like not listing your prices. Now here's what I've heard. I think it's hooey. Channeling my Midwest roots by saying the word hooey. Competitors will know what I charge and try to undercut me. I don't think this is a valid argument. So if that's something you're concerned about when it comes to listing your prices, I don't think that's the right thing to think about. You're not, especially if you're a service-based business owner serving other businesses, you're not trying to race to the bottom. You're trying to show value. You don't want to be the cheapest service. So who cares if they know what you charge, right? Don't worry about it. Just worry about yourself and delivering the value, or we're delivering the value, honestly, from the prices that you set, okay? So don't just not post your prices because you're afraid other people will undercut you. I have some services where I know other people charge less. I still have plenty of very happy clients with what I do, because I provide the value that matches and even exceeds the price that I give to my clients. What's that one? Okay, so once again, this comes more into like, are you confident selling on a phone call? Are you confident expressing your value in your business? Do you feel confident when it comes to that? So if you don't have your prices listed on your site, some people will be more apt to reach out to you because they're curious. Now, there's some people who would probably be right in this gray area where they're not sure if they can afford you, but they're interested. And so if you have a price listed, they may get scared off immediately by the price. And you may end up losing some clients that way. So, for example, with my first business coach, if I'd known what she had charged without without having a call with her, I might have been too scared to get in the phone with her. It was a big price that scared me, but I got in the phone with her because I wasn't quite sure. I wanted to learn more, and she was able to really clearly communicate her value, how she would help me, how she's helped other entrepreneurs like me, and because of that, I ended up signing up with her. She had the chance to sell to me. She had the chance to connect with me. So, for example, like when I get on sales phone calls, honestly, I don't do a lot of talking, but my goal, sales is very much based on relationships, right? You want to build a relationship with your client. You want to, you don't start from, the dating analogy. It's just like you don't start from 0 and go to, 100. This phone call where they're calling to ask more about your services and what you offer is a part of the relationship that could help them get to the next step of being interested. That if they had just seen a price, they may have been a really good client that you could really help, but because they missed out on that interaction with you because they saw a number and were scared off, that gray zone client, where they're like right in the middle right there, you might have lost something. Like, for example, when I'm on the phone with my clients, I listen a lot, I repeat the needs they feel, I list out all the benefits that I've given to other clients similar to them, I talk about how I move forward with them as I have with others, and then I talk about the price. I want them to be fully aware of what's involved in the price. And then also it's just like it's feeling each other out. It's just like, is this someone I want to have a client relationship with? Because I get very in-depth with my clients. I love my clients. So that's one of the reasons why I don't, and why some people don't list their prices. They want to have that chance to sell and explain the value instead of scaring off those middle ground people who are not quite sure if they can afford it, but if they understand really how much it is, they'll make the jump. That's something I've gone through personally as a purchaser, and so I operate my business, and it works well. So another thing this is especially important in the beginning. In the beginning, one of the most important lessons I learned when it came to my pricing period, not just listing it, was, okay, what do I charge? And of course, no one could give me a straight answer on that either. And I wish I could give you the same, some clear directive on that as well. So something I had to do in sales call after sales call after sales call is I had to feel out my prices. How much do I feel I'm worth? What do people say yes to? What do people say no to? And I just had to do it with practice over and over again. Now, because I didn't have listed prices, I was able to be very dynamic, and I'll make that very clear. This is not me upcharging someone because I felt like they had more money to pay. That's not how I operate at all, and that's not how you should operate either. But as when I was starting out, I needed to figure out what my services were worth. So I needed to play with the price point a little bit in the beginning. Okay, charge a little less, charge a little lower. Since it wasn't listed, I was able to have that freedom to play with the number a little bit. Not only that, I'm now at the stage in my business where I have so much interest that, I'm getting more calls, I'm getting more projects, and as my demand and my experience continues to increase day by day and week by week, I'm able to increase my prices, accordingly, without having to worry about going back on my website and changing things there. I'm able to be much more dynamic on the phone because I know that my value has increased as a result. Once again, this is not taking advantage of people who have deeper wallets, not my game, and it shouldn't be yours. This is about, as I become a more valuable service provider, charging value and having the freedom to do that. So another thing is, a question you should ask yourself in your business when it comes to listing your prices: do you have clear packages, or do you customize packages per customer? Now, you can do kind of an a la carte thing on your website where it's just like, I have these 10 services and you can pick from them and create, like this whole package. I find it gets confusing and overwhelming. Even as a purchaser, when someone has like a whole bunch of things listed out, it's just like, I don't know. And like same with my clients, a lot of times they come to me and they're not exactly sure what they want or what would be best for them in their social media marketing or their website. And I end up customizing, the kinds of services I provide them. Sometimes it's just a website. Sometimes it's a website and a lead magnet. Sometimes, it really comes from the conversation of figuring out what do they need, do they know what they need, and helping them figure that out. So I don't have a lot of clear packages outside of like the content membership that I do, and then this About Me class that I have coming up in the next few weeks. The one-on-one work is very dynamic. So that's another reason why I don't post prices. So that also something to keep in mind when it comes to how you work. So those are all the things to keep in mind when you're trying to figure out, do I want to post prices? The most helpful thing I can tell you, if you're still kind of like back and forth, I would tell you, here's a good compromise. If you want to be transparent, but you don't want to nail yourself into like a certain price point, use this beautiful phrase. It's 3 words, okay? Prices start at, okay? That's it. That way you're giving transparency without getting locked into this lower rate. It gives you flexibility to play with the numbers, and then you can kind of feel it out. So prices start at. Add that into like your pricing page if you feel like you want to add that, and then you kind of get the best of both worlds. So that's something I actually do want to start adding to my website, but once again, a lot of my offerings are very dynamic and customized, so it's kind of hard to do that, right? Anyways, so moral of the story, I wish I could tell you a silver bullet, but I'm going to tell you what all of my mentors have told me when it came to business. There is no silver bullet. There is no perfect way of doing things. And there isn't just one single way to succeed in any business. I know that's a really hard thing to hear because I remember being a new entrepreneur and thinking, just tell me what to do, I'll freaking do it. You're going to have to feel it out, which is really frustrating, and it takes time. However, you're going to have to try, and this is a good exercise for trusting your gut. I know very successful businesses on both sides of this equation, people who are very good at posting their prices and people who don't. I do well without posting prices. My business coach does really well, and she doesn't post her prices, and she changes them dynamically. It's not fatal either way. So don't feel like A is completely right and B is completely wrong. It may take some time to figure out what is a good fit for you, for your business, for your clients, and your services. Okay? So, and once again, the beautiful thing is you can change it up later if you feel it isn't working. But try and give it at least a couple months to see what happens, to let it sink in, to see how it goes. But either way, it's very important in your business that it's something you feel good about. And customers can sense if you don't feel confident, if you don't feel aligned, if you're hiding your prices for the wrong reasons or things of that nature. Customers can sense that. So make sure that you pick something that feels comfortable for you, but maybe stretches you a little bit. That's usually the good place where I am in my business. If I'm a little bit uncomfortable, but still feel like I'm within the way I want to run my business. You know what I mean? All right. So once again, I wish I gave you a silver bullet on how to list your prices and whether the best thing is. But I hope this at least gives you a little bit of guidance on how to make that decision for yourself. I'm sure that whatever happens, you'll do a great job, and that your clients will come to you. Don't overthink it. Just make sure to give killer value and keep helping people. Okay. All right. I'm gonna head out of here. But I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. I'll be back again next week. And once again, on Wednesdays, I do a live in my Facebook group. I've got the link to the Facebook group in my in the video description. So if you're interested in tuning in and seeing the content there, please do. If not, until then, I'll see you next week and on Facebook, of course. Bye, guys.